Et salut tout le monde, c'est Damoclès, j'espère que vous allez bien. On se retrouve aujourd'hui pour un nouvel épisode de Genshin Impact. On se retrouve dans le donjon où se trouve le mal qui ronge le père, du coup, comment il s'appelle? Jialiang, ça. Le mal, du coup, qui a constitué le poison. Et ça a l'air, waouh, ça a l'air super beau. Et on va devoir du coup trouver le mal à la source pour essayer de soigner ce monsieur en fait. La mère lui avait injecté, enfin sa femme lui avait injecté un poison concocté à partir de restes de divinité pour combattre une maladie cardiaque en fait qu'il avait par la naissance en fait. Donc écoutez, on va voir du coup de quoi il retourne et qu'est-ce qui se cache tout au fond. Donc, évidemment, je vous rappelle que cet épisode est enregistré sur Twitch, donc n'hésitez pas à nous rejoindre grâce au lien de description, ainsi que sur le serveur Discord la Croisée des Mondes. Et sur ce, c'est parti. Mais c'est super beau, hein. Et les nuages et tout. On dirait à moitié les assets de la forêt de pierre à moitié. Ouais, c'est clairement les assets de la forêt de pierre qu'ils ont réutilisés. Alors on va voir qu'est-ce que... Ok, ça va. Ouais, du coup ça ricoche en fait, c'est comme un boomerang à moitié. Ok.
Whoa, there's a sensor here. Those treasure hoarders sure made themselves at home.
Les traces de brûlure sont encore fraîches. Ce sont sûrement les pierres de trésor qui ont laissé ça.
I believe this censer was used to burn a monster repelling incense.
A monster repelling incense? You sure? 'Cause we did run into that group of monsters just now.
The incense was burned several days ago. If I had to guess, the monsters we fought just now were enticed here by some entity deeper inside the cave. No doubt an encounter with the very same entity was what prompted the treasure hoarders to flee and abandon their designs on this cave. After them, Jiangli was the next person to discover this place and what lies inside. But to her, it presented an opportunity to save Jia Liang's life, albeit as a last resort.
That's right. This censer, it belongs to Jiangli. Yes, this was the place. This is where I told Jiangli to give me the poison.
Jialiang!
I'm fine. Let's keep going. I can feel it. She is right below us, waiting for me.
Je sais pas comment ça va se terminer cette histoire, on verra bien, mais ça a pas l'air de sentir particulièrement bon. Ok. C'est encore une descente vers les profondeurs. Oh la vache. Voilà les émanations moitié qu'il y a là. En tout cas la zone est très très belle, hein. C'est un donjon qui varie bien avec ce qu'on a d'habitude.
I can feel it. We're getting close.
Il y a une porte juste devant.
We're almost there. It's right up ahead. The place where we made a pact together to...
Oh. C'est trop stylé.
Aha! We can keep going now.
From the looks of it, the energy released by this mechanism can not only clear barriers, but also be conducted by corresponding mechanisms. Perhaps it's something we can make use of.
On va avoir une énigme à faire avec ça, c'est sûr. Ah, j'adore, c'est tout. Waouh. Waouh, c'est trop beau. Malheureusement, on peut pas s'en servir comme une miniature, mais c'est trop beau. Il y a un visage fendu en deux à moitié. Vous avez vu, il y a des cristaux maléfiques à moitié. Donc on peut aller ici déjà. Ah, c'est juste à dire qu'on peut rien faire avec ça. Ok. Waouh.
Remember, health comes
Oh,
first.
stylé son
Mind the side effects.
ulti est très stylé.
Temple of Wisdom.
Busted. Things are about to get dicey.
This is order.
Torn to oblivion.
Ok, nice. Hop. En tout cas, c'est bien parce qu'avec ce qu'on a eu avec le Battle Pass là qu'on a eu la dernière fois, on a eu pas mal d'objets pour Raiden normalement pour l'améliorer. C'est vrai que j'avais pas vraiment regardé, mais ouais, c'est un parchemin, ça nous fait toujours ça de prix, on va dire. Ça nous fait toujours ça de prix. Donc ça, on pourra en avoir lundi. On est quand même bien remonté en argent aussi, on est remonté à 2 millions, donc en vrai, on va continuer à farmer de l'argent demain, comme ça au moins on pourra être bien. Sachant que de toute façon, les seules choses qu'on a farmé maintenant, c'est Naïda pour la mettre niveau 90. Et Naïda pour la mettre 90 et Naïda pour la mettre 90 et comment dire les bah Naïda et les artefacts en fait, c'est juste ça en fait. On a juste les artefacts et Naïda. Y a pas un truc de résonance à faire ici par hasard? Non, on a rien à faire là. Ouais, je suis poussé par là. Je sais pas si ça peut servir à quelque chose, mais bon. Ok. On avance de plus en plus profondément dans le temple. Je pense qu'on est bientôt arrivé au bout, je pense. On descend encore dans les profondeurs. Il y a de plus en plus de cristaux. Waouh. Waouh. C'est trop beau. Géosaure.
Jiangli!
Look out! There's a monster next to her.
The god remains must have lured them here. Watch my back.
Géosaure, celui à qui le sang répugnant de chi s'accroche.
Make yourselves a room. Commit it to memory.
Solidify! Order guide you!
Here comes the catch. Now you shall perish.
Ok.
Dr. Baizhu, how serious is it? Is she...
I can still feel a pulse, but her condition is quite grave. The god remains here are encroaching on her cognition, much as the poison in your system did to you.
C'est classe par contre. Hein.
If we don't eliminate it soon, then even if we save her life, I fear that she may never wake up again.
Then, what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the remains right away! It's not as simple as that. Don't you remember what Baizhu said? The poison within Jialiang's body is inextricably linked to the god remains here. If the source is purged, the poison in his system will stop having any effect. And the poison within Jialiang's body is keeping his heart condition under control. So, If it stops working...
Donc c'est soit la mère, soit le père.
Oh no. Are you saying...
Indeed. If the god remains here are purged, then your life will come to an end.
I wondered when this day might come.
Wait! But we've all been working our butts off to save Jialiang's life! After all that, we can't just give up on him! Baizhu, you're a great doctor! Surely you gotta know of some other way we can save him, right?
You could continue to take the poison, which would buy you some time. As for Jiangli, maybe if we put our heads together we can think of something?
It appears to me that she was striving to concoct your medicine for you, right up until the moment when she lost consciousness. Maybe it's her greatest wish that you will continue to take it and live.
Dr. Baizhu, give it to me straight. How long does Jiangli have?
Est-ce que le remède n'est pas pire que le mal au final, hein?
The god remains have reached her internal organs. Under ordinary circumstances, I would give her less than 3 days.
Ne me dites pas que vous comptez encore.
But what would be the point of that? Dr. Baizhu, I'm all too aware of the dangers of God remains. You are not the first to mention it to me. If I continue to sustain my own life using this wretched substance, not only would Jiangli have to keep risking her life to make my medicine for me, but I would have to live with the looming threat of these remains breaking out and wreaking havoc not just upon me, but my entire family. I know for a fact that I should have died over a decade ago. The fact that I've been around to see how you grow up is already a great blessing from Rex Lapis. If my choice can bring Jiangli back, then even if I die...
Jialiang...
After cheating death for so long, it seems I've grown somewhat addicted to life. Traveler, Dr. Baizhu, could I have another minute with my wife? I just want to have one final moment together.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to repay your kindness in this life.
Jialiang... Baizhu, Changsheng... Is there really nothing else you can do?
I am sure that over the years, Jiangli will have tried all the conventional methods known to humankind. As for less conventional methods, I have little expertise besides Changsheng's secret art.
Mortals are fated to grow old and pass on when their natural lifespan runs out. If it were so easy to combat the natural processes of aging and death, Jiangli would not have had to resort to unnatural methods. What a crazy situation! Jiangli risked it all to save Jialiang's life, and now Jialiang has to sacrifice himself to save Jiangli! What's the point of it all?
Tout ce que l'on peut faire pour l'instant, c'est d'honorer la décision de Xiaoliang et de lui servir de témoin.
I've seen many final farewells in my time, but I can never get used to it.
Tu m'étonnes.
In the human realm, all things must come to an end. Is it not a fitting end to die for a worthy cause? At least, that's what generations of masters before you have always believed.
The path they chose was indeed a heroic one. But when I think of those who would willingly sacrifice themselves for others, I cannot help but think that theirs are the lives least deserving of death.
When all this began, we agreed that once Ayu was old enough to help you gather herbs, it would be time for me to go.
C'était convenu qu'une fois qu'Ayu sera assez grand pour aider à la récolter des herbes, il serait temps pour moi de partir.
If you could only see him now. He took me all the way to Liyue Harbor to see the doctor. And he even got the Adventurers Guild to search for you. So, I know that you'll both be okay without me. I've said my goodbyes. My time has come. Do what you must.
As you wish.
Ils sont tristes les quatre qu'on a en ce moment.
It will eat away at both your cognition and your memories. In the end, you'll become little more than a shadow of your true self.
Donc le remède est bien pire que le mal.
I'll take it. At the very least, it will allow me to stay with you and watch how you grow up.
Mom, something's really wrong with Dad.
Elle se souvient de tout.
Don't fret, Ayu. I will gather some medicinal herbs right away. I promise you, nothing will happen to our family.
Why would these memories come to mind now? The longer we live, the tighter we cling to what we have. Oh, how I would love to hear your voice one last time.
Jialiang. 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 Jialiang.
Attends, ils ont réussi à le sauver?
Dad, are you awake?
What?
Jiangli, are you?
Ah! Regardez ce qu'il a. Ils lui ont fait une chichi.
Didn't I... Huh? What
C'est un
are
zombie.
these?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe it to me in detail?
Dr. Baizhu, I thought that I was going to...
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death. Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I am as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Hu finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it to you to work on something like that behind my back.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jialiang's iron will. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Hu's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jia Liang to show us the way before we set off for Qingsa village?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Putain.
Without Director Hu nudging things in the right direction, we may not have found Jiangli in time.
Je savais que quelqu'un allait nous écouter. C'était donc vous, Tao.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank and transparent with me for once, but apparently not.
Director Hu told me to keep her suggestion a secret, but it seems nothing escapes Dr. Baizhu's attention.
Never underestimate a serpent's sense of smell.
All I wanted was to help Jialiang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way to the afterlife without any unfulfilled wishes making the journey more difficult than it needs to be. Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. Never mind. I'll just have to put it down in the books as a deferred consideration.
Mais elle a pas de cœur.
One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the moment I found him.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baizhu, and cure Dad for good!
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng funeral parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon, I'll catch you all another time.
Is she finally gone? All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion.
Non, dis pas plus, Paimon. Je sais déjà ce que tu vas proposer.
At times like this, a grand celebratory feast is in order.
It feels like it was a whole lifetime ago when I last talked with Zhongli and Ayu around the dinner table.
Véritable repas.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients. Let's go!
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baizhu, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baizhu, Changsheng, would you mind if we took this conversation outside?
Oh, gros troll Baizhu. On peut se barrer si on veut. On peut vraiment se barrer si on veut. Attendez quoi? Attendez, je vais essayer un truc. Ah d'accord, ok. Non, d'accord, ok. Ok. Oui. J'allais me dire, ça aurait été un peu abusé quand même. Et on va repasser à Zhongli. Ouais, quand on va retourner au cottage Boubou, on va reprendre Baizhu, j'imagine. Là, on reprend le contrôle de Baizhu, j'imagine.
Jialiang. Jialiang.
Ah merde! Ah d'accord, on relance tout. Ah désolé, bon, on skip. Ok, bon, on a dû se retaper toutes les cinématiques YouTube. Bon, cette fois-ci, on va pas faire le coup, hein. Voilà. Écoutez, je voulais tester des choses et je me suis foiré.
Time flies. It's been so long since we bade each other farewell in Shenyu Vale. Changsheng, you're the same as ever. You haven't changed one bit.
You, on the other hand, have changed a lot.
You're right. My younger self would have never imagined that things would one day turn out this way. Or that you'd turn out this way, Baizhu.
Mais Baizhu, j'aime bien son personnage. Hein. J'aime bien son perso, Baizhu. En vrai, sa quête est ultra intéressante. Hein.
I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality. It's not altogether dissimilar from the poison I concocted in terms of the way it functions.
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life. I hope you're not too upset at me for copying your methods.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen my poison, I believe you would have eventually arrived at the same approach. But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to gain such a thorough understanding of it. Jialiang's still only been in your care for a few days. Not just that, you even managed to improve upon the original formula. That cannot be explained by intellect alone. Baizhu, be honest with me. Did you try out some of the poison on yourself?
Huh. Told you the truth would surface sooner or later.
Life force isn't the only thing that Changsheng's contract lets you transfer between bodies, is it?
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You are correct. Besides life force, Changsheng's secret art also allows for the transfer of toxins and diseases. When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. Not only did this allow me to alleviate the burden on him, but it also gave me an opportunity to study its properties. There is no need to worry about any long-term consequences to my health, however. Now that the source has been destroyed, any remaining poison in me will have already dissipated.
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't destroyed the god's remains back there, then even you might have... What am I saying? I'm in no position to criticize you for this. The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old, and I didn't want him using up any more of his own life force to treat my husband. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another, and then you tried the poison on yourself too. It looks like both of us have ended up going the same way as our master before us. Are all disciples of Chenyu Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life, having given away our own for the sake of others? To fight relentlessly against the natural course of life and death, whatever the cost? Maybe our fate is sealed the moment we decide to study medicine.
We are doctors, Jiangli. We ought never say that anyone's fate is sealed.
Baizhu, I can tell that, over the years, you've used the contract with Changsheng to transfer many diseases and toxins to yourself. There are so many that, some of them, I don't even recognize. Can you still stop before it's too late?
I think you know the answer, Jiangli. Every one of us from Chenyu Vale believes in the same thing.
Hey, food's ready!
Mom, come and join us.
Il donne littéralement sa vie pour celle des autres, hein, c'est beau.
The traveler taught me a load of new recipes and said even Dad will be able to taste them. Come and try them out.
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Hey, slow down. Baizhu, I know I won't be able to convince you, but please don't forget that if one day you're not around anymore, Qiqi, Gui, and all the friends who have grown fond of you, they will all miss you dearly.
There's no need to worry, Jiangli. I know what I'm doing.
I can only hope so.
Baizhu, what did Jiang Li mean by not around anymore? Are you gonna be okay?
Et quand Shang Shang parlait de ce destin, qu'est-ce qu'elle voulait dire?
Every single mortal I've ever contracted with, including Baizhu and Jiang Li's master, has passed away at a young age. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You said that the contract with you helps people live longer.
It is a very long story.
Cinématique.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord,
Ah, ça
but
j'en ai entendu
found
parler.
only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of others. And generation upon generation followed in these footsteps. Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors, and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is, until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poisoned chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patients? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojin. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament. All my hosts have been most pure of heart.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, they are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning the laws of life and death.
Oui, en fait, ils peuvent vivre plus longtemps. Sur le papier, ils peuvent vivre plus longtemps grâce à Sheng Sheng. Mais vu qu'ils veulent sauver tous ceux qui sont devant eux, bah en fait, ils gangrènent leur propre force vitale, en fait. Mais c'est beau. Hein. C'est beau et c'est tragique en même temps, mais c'est beau.
Though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them, when faced with the sorrows of humanity, and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means.
Donc la fameuse arborisatrice qu'on n'avait pas trouvée au volant chez News, c'était Shang en fait.
They are like moths that throw
Enfin,
themselves
j'imagine.
into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain and suffering.
So, Baizhu, does that mean...
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light, but doesn't want to be burned to a crisp. Shang's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. It's just like we witnessed. Either Jia Liang feared for Jiang Li's life, or Jiang Li grieved over Jia Liang's sacrifice. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But I do not wish to join their ranks, nor do I wish to pass on this contract to anyone else in the future.
Ah, il veut continuer à utiliser sa force vitale, mais sans non plus se sacrifier à la fin.
Huh? But didn't you already transfer a ton of diseases onto yourself?
What makes a poison poison? And what makes a disease a disease? When it comes down to it, are not both mechanisms that affect the operations of the human body? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality could in fact be a kind of poison. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order. But to me, it is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs by sampling each and every one. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Cheng to perish from losing her host. This leaves only one solution, doesn't it?
L'élixir d'immortalité. Vous devez devenir immortel vous-même.
Precisely. I will be Chang's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you want to save yourself. Now you even want to save me. You're getting greedy, Baizhu.
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human?
Et maintenant qu'on y pense, en fait, il a les yeux de serpent en moitié avec ses pupilles rétractées. Mais du coup, ouais, c'est pas du tout pour lui-même qu'il veut devenir immortel, c'est vraiment pour le bien des autres en fait.
For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light, the only path forward is up towards the moon.
For once, Paimon just does not know what to say.
Dr. Baizhu, Traveler, what are you still chatting about? The food's about to get cold.
We also have coconut milk for Changsheng and Paimon.
La coco chèvre.
Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we've eaten.
Toi alors. Les en veux pour moi, d'accord?
I do envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her fill is enough to satisfy her body and mind.
True. And yet, although we call them simple pleasures, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling desperately to the life we have?
Léganaria, acte interminé, l'art des soins. Je me rappelle qu'à chaque fois ça marquait à suivre alors qu'en fait, en soi, l'histoire est terminée en fait. Alors, du coup, on va pouvoir acheter une nouvelle primogène. Et si on recompte, parce qu'évidemment, j'ai pas de cerveau et j'oublie toujours, on est à 66 de pity. Et si on compte, on est du coup à... « 66, 76, 77, 78, 79. Donc on est bientôt à 80 de pity. Donc dans 11 vœux, on aura une pity complète. Et du coup, on n'aura plus qu'à avoir 90 autres primogèmes pour s'assurer ma Wicca quoi qu'il arrive. La question, c'est est-ce qu'on va tenter... Est-ce que si on arrive, on tentera ou pas? En vrai, je suis peut-être prêt à tenter une Villette si je réussis à avoir assez de primogèmes d'ici là. Ce sera qui tout doublant. Si je gagne de Villette, déjà ça veut dire que j'aurai énormément de chance, ce sera mon item 50-50, mais ça veut dire que je ne m'assurerai pas forcément d'avoir ma Wicca. Et si je vais à mon 50-50, je m'assure d'avoir ma Wicca. Mais du coup, j'aurais quand même perdu des primogèmes. On verra bien. En tout cas, on va pas arrêter l'épisode tout de suite. On n'a plus grand chose, hein, la vache, vous avez vu? On n'a plus rien comme quête. Hein. Ça, c'est... Ça, j'avais pas fait gaffe, mais on n'a plus rien. Hein. Pendant un moment, on était surchargé en quête, et là, on n'a plus rien, quoi. C'est... C'est quoi, ça? Splendide terre. C'est un truc à Sumeru, d'accord. Je sais pas du tout pourquoi on a cette quête-là, mais on a cette quête-là, écoutez. Je sais même pas comment on l'a eu. L'anomalie dans le ciel. Et ça, faudra le faire à Quartier Lyonnais à Fontaine, d'accord. Bon, ça, on le fera dans pas mal de temps. Ça, on pourra le faire dans les jours et semaines à venir. Ça, par contre, ça prendra plus de temps. Bah, du coup, vous savez quoi? Il nous reste plus qu'une chose à faire. Hein. Il nous reste plus qu'une seule quête. Hein. Umbra Bilis Orchis, Paris calculé, acte 1. Promenez-vous dans le port de Liyue. Vous croisez un visage familier lors de promenade à Liyue. On va juste lancer la première quête. Et ensuite, on va voir ce qu'il en retourne. C'est quoi? La sélection des 7 étoiles.
Traveler, Paimon, it's been a long time.
Oh, hey, Hoishin. Long time no see.
Comme ça, on initie la quête des Galan.
Fancy meeting you here. How's work these days?
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu, better all the time. But I've been feeling distracted at work lately. I just feel constantly agitated.
J'aime bien la façon dont les pigeons restent autour de nous parce qu'on ne considère pas comme là en fait. Il se passe quelque chose?
It's a long story. But my father, he's thinking of stepping down from the Tianshu position due to health issues.
Huh? What's wrong with Uncle Tian?
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He says he's just increasingly low on energy these days.
Là, c'est la vieillesse quoi.
He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Still, I just can't help but feel a little emotional watching it happen to him. Anyway, my father's currently on the 2nd floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you come pay him a visit with me? He seems very fond of you too. I'm sure chatting with you will make him very happy.
Sure, let's go.
Pareil calculé, début de la quête. Pour l'instant, il n'y a pas de lien avec Yelan. Hein. On va juste aller faire un truc, les gens vont... Évidemment, on ira faire ça demain. On va juste aller rendre nos quêtes au niveau des... Au niveau de du comité, là. Et on va aller rendre dire un petit bonjour aux pigeons de Timmy à Mondstadt. Hop. Retour dans les montagnes. Et du coup, il nous reste que 2 quêtes à faire. Parfait. Hop, on va juste aller se rendre là-bas. Je voulais voir c'était au niveau des quêtes annexes. Par contre, les quêtes quotidiennes. C'était lié à des trucs de Sumeru. Un art à peaufiner. C'était d'Inazuma, Inazuma. Ah, peut-être que là, on avait ça. Et le reste, on s'en foutait par contre. Peut-être que ça, c'était une quête... Ah oui, regardez. C'est indiqué de toute façon quand c'est une quête. D'accord, donc en fait, quand on a une quête... Putain, c'est bien fait. En fait, quand c'est lié à une quête, en fait, c'est indiqué comme ça. Bon, c'est pas grave, à la limite, on la laisse. On l'aura une prochaine fois, celle-là. On va juste se rendre à Mondstadt et on va aller faire ça. Hop. De toute façon, d'ici qu'on ait les quêtes de... D'ici qu'on ait les quêtes, de toute façon, on aura le temps. Hein. Sauf que là, fallait parler de tuer un dragon, fallait parler de chasser un... d'avoir vu la chute d'un dieu. On a dit les deux et pourtant ça a rien changé, donc on verra bien. On va juste récupérer. Parfait. Sur le quand on y pense. Enfin bref, on retourne à Inazuma et on s'arrête. Enfin, on retourne à Liyue et on s'arrête là pour aujourd'hui. En tout cas, les amis, j'espère que cet épisode vous aura plu. Franchement, la quête de Yelan, enfin la quête de Baizhu, super intéressante. Hein. Comme quoi, faut jamais se fier à l'apparence du personnage pour définir sa quête. Hein. Ça se trouve, il y a des personnages, l'apparence, je suis en mode moins bof. En fait, elles sont super cool. Franchement, là, il n'y en a aucune qui était décevante. Celle de Shao qui était peut-être un peu plus mid, mais franchement, bah, le fait qu'on l'ait vu plein de fois, franchement, c'est un personnage que j'aime plus. On comprend pourquoi il est un peu stoïque, il est un peu froid et tout, mais il n'est pas non plus méga antipathique, je trouve. En tout cas, bref, j'espère que cet épisode vous aura plu. Si c'est le cas, n'hésitez pas à liker, à partager, à commenter, à vous abonner, à activer la cloche. Demain et après-demain, ce sera sûrement les derniers épisodes qu'on passera à Liyue avant de partir à Sumeru. Donc n'hésitez pas à nous suivre, évidemment, pour rien manquer de notre début de l'aventure. Bah, la partie centrale de Teyvat, tout simplement. En tout cas, je vous remercie d'avoir regardé et je vous dis à demain tout le monde. C'était Moclès et salut, salut!